Am I the only person in defense of Chris Fusco right now? Because I think what Alex did to Ashley and what Mike did to Emma were just as bad as what Chris did to Jessica. Chris just did it more honestly. Let's not be pillorying men for like their affect, for how they come off. Let's pillory them for who they are, for their essence. I want to see comeuppance for Mike for doing the same thing Chris did and Alex did. Objectify women. Right? Chris did it without varnish. He said to Jess, I'm not attracted to you because you're carrying 5 extra pounds. It's ridiculous, but at least he just said it, okay? And why was Chris scapegoated for something that all of these men are doing, okay? Ghost women for simple shit like carrying 5 extra pounds or like not having the right hair color. I'm not saying we should be easier on Chris. I'm saying we should be harder on all of the other guys because this is what men do. And this show is all about ferreting out superficiality. That's why the show is called Love is Blind. Consider the stupidity of Jessica being able to say to Chris, so some Pilates would have made the difference for you. We would have exchanged the I do's and gone forward into our future, over 5 pounds of difference, some Pilates, huh? And Ashley could have said the same thing to Alex, like a $3 box of hair dye at the store. If I just had a little bit darker features, and we'd be good. But let's not forget Mike. All that separated Mike from marrying Emma was the difference between adopted and biological children. And that's a pretty flimsy deal breaker given her story, right? That's also outright objectification of Emma's body, not the sort of obvious objectification that Chris and Alex did. It's a more sinister, like utilitarian objectification. Mike was treating Emma's body like his own personal rental space, like her uterus was, he felt entitled to her body, to her biological processes. That's kind of gross. And the kind of glowing part of Mike and Emma's story had been this apparent triumph over ableism. She had tearfully confessed that she's had trouble getting guys to see past her disability, like her skin disorder. She had had all these surgeries and things like that. And her unwillingness to have biological children was rooted in compassion. She didn't want to pass genetically this disorder to a child who would have to suffer through what she went through. She also had had this wonderful story with her adoption. She felt lost and then reclaimed and found by this wonderful adoptive family, and she wanted to pay that forward. So it's not like she had flimsy reasons to want to adopt. She actually had really compelling, beautiful reasons to want to adopt. And Mike was completely unmoved by her story. So he really did leave her for her disability and for the things that resulted from her disability. The wisest thing anybody said in season 10 was Jess to Chris. She said, thank you for showing me who you were quickly, okay? Because most men lie and heap lies upon lies upon lies and manipulate, and then a woman will be 3 kids into the marriage before she realizes what a monster she married and that she should have gotten out when she had the chance. And so it's kind of wonderful that some of these guys will just show you who they are. We can at least be praising in men honesty and the vulnerability to show up with all of your demons, with all of your skeletons out of your closet, with all your monstrosity right up front, so that we at least know and can make an informed decision on you. That is what we should be expecting from our men right now. We need to be applauding honesty, not driving men back into hiding, which is what they've done for millennia to get women to unite with them, is just lie to us. And I fear that all of this very public reprisal Chris Fusco has gotten is going to make him not changed, because he will not change. He will just become more deceptive in the future. And women need to be less deceived, more informed. No, the real villain of season 10, it was not Chris Fusco. It was not Alex. It was Mike, because he was able to frame his prejudices in such a way as to convince the public that his shocking disregard for Emma's beautiful story and his unthinkable entitlement to her biological processes was just like his valid preference, instead of unapologetic bigotry, which is what it was. Mike was the villain of season 10, not Chris Fusco.